Hello and welcome everyone. So in today's episode we're going to take a look at NIO, the Chinese car manufacturer. So NIO has done very impressive gains starting from May 2020 up until recently where we had this correction here. So we had a bull run since May 2020 and we corrected around the beginning of February. Now something to keep in mind, the gains has been really impressive for NIO. We had a movement of 1,500% more than 1,500% of gains if you bought around May or April 2020. You would have had this much of gains if you sold at the top. Now, of course, whatever goes straight up tends to go straight down as well and corrects the price of a movement. The price of something cannot just go up. It has to correct, it has to go down at some point. And this is what we had here. We had healthy correction. If we do the Fibonacci retracement, as you can see, we corrected around the 50% zone, which means that NIO has given up in this correction 50% of its gain in this bull run. Now, we also came here to test, just look how accurate it is, how accurate this EMA, this 233 period EMA on the daily chart is. We went, we touched it, and then we started going on again. So this is a very important level to watch for, and any dip below the 233 EMA could be a very bearish signal for NIO. Now, one thing to keep in mind, because I keep coming up with numbers when it comes to EMA, I don't use 250, 200, I don't use these kind of round numbers. So if you want to use EMAs, the way I personally use them is to use Fibonacci numbers. Now we're going to take a look at Fibonacci numbers. The Fibonacci numbers, as you can see, this is the formula. You can look for it in Wikipedia. So the Fibonacci numbers, here they are. There's the 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, and then we have 13, 21, 34, etc. So the ones that you're gonna use most for EMAs, at least from my experience, is the 233, the 90, 80, 89, and then the 55. These are the ones that I personally use a lot, especially when it comes to detecting the corrections here. Another way to detect corrections, you can use pivot points. And as you can see, for example, this pivot point here, we went above this pivot, we didn't touch it. So as you can see here, we touched the pivot point, here we touched the pivot point, we touched all of these pivot points, but this one was a missed pivot point. So if you extend this missed pivot point, it gives you a target of around 47. So the first correction that we had, by the way, was around 47. It was around 45, and then we bounced back a little bit, and then the selling pressure just came in. So and we also have a missed pivot point around 56. So these can act as a very magnetic levels. So the 50, 55, 56 is a very strong level to watch for. Now, right now we're trading at a resistance, this resistance of around 45 level here. So we're gonna draw it. So we're gonna delete the no, we're gonna keep the Fibonacci retracement. Now this level of 45, as you can see, it's around the 38% retracement. Now this area between the 45 and the 38% retracement is the next resistance. If we do close above this area here, then we can start to get those move back to 55 to test the 55 area. And then if we do take the 55, we're gonna go to the all-time highs of around 65 here. And if we do take the 65 and we do close above the 65, then we can have an impressive move forward, and buying pressure would come in, a lot of capital would come in, fresh capital would come in into NIO. Now, to know where the target is, the next target is, we're going to use the Fibonacci Expansions. Now we're going to take lows, highs, and the correction lows. So if we take this, now we have a target of around 70, and then we have a target around 95. These are the level to watch for. And if you go parabolic from here, we have 161, but this is very we have 130. Sorry, 130 is very far target. It's not impossible. It's not an impossible target, but just keep in mind that for now, in my opinion, the target that is most likely to happen is the 95 area. If you do break all of these resistance, because right now we do have a lot of resistance, we could have a double top here, and we could have a double top and then a move down. We could have a move down right now, creating a reverse head and shoulders as the shoulder, the head, and the shoulder here. And keep in mind that any dip below this EMA would be really, really bearish for NIO. So keep in mind, these are the scenarios that you can use. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the dollar index. Always, if you're trading stocks, if you're trading equities, the thing that I want you to keep in mind is the dollar index and the 10-year treasury yields. Now, the dollar index has been trading down these few days because it has reached this resistance and failed to break above the 92,500 resistance. Now, right now we backed off a bit, we corrected. However, there is the support of 91,500. If we go below this level, then it's really bearish for the dollar, and we can really accelerate to the downside and visit the lows of around 90 and maybe even 89,500 next week. So keep in mind that if you do dip and close below 91,500, then the move would be would accelerate down. And if we do take the lows, but this will take a long time. If we do take the lows around here, then we can really accelerate to the downside. Maybe 85 is the next target if you take a look at the monthly chart of the dollar index. And the same thing for the yields. The yields, we went to this resistance of around 160, 1.6, and then we are correcting right now, and we still could go up into this second resistance of 2%. But if we don't, and we keep moving down forward as the dollar will also go down at the same time, then the next target to watch for is the 1.12, and any dip below the 1.12 could send us to the 0.5 again, which is the lows, the all-time lows for now. So this is it, guys. This was the technical analysis of NIO, the car company, the Chinese car manufacturer. So if you have any questions, do let us know in the comments, and have a good trading session.